Hi! So, I have a special treat for you guys. We are gonna get 3 videos in a row. So, this is coming out on Thursday. I have one for Friday and Saturday because I have been invited to do a blog party by the wonderful and amazing Kate Willis. She is an author and a lovely blogger. Her blog is Once Upon an Ordinary, and it's linked below along with some other wonderful bloggers, and we are all doing it together, and I get to do mine on YouTube. So each day we're gonna give 5 book recommendations or just name 5 books that kind of fit the little theme that we're doing as a little Valentine's Day gift to you guys because we love you guys and we love each other, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. So the theme for this first video is books that I am afraid to read, which is going to be so much fun to talk about, which we are going to do as soon as I say thank you for being here today. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Gabriella Batel, author of these 2 books, the Don't series, a YA thriller duology, and the upcoming fantasy thriller Ending, which follows Death himself in a world so young that he is only a teenager, and he's got a little sister, Life. And Life, they're immortal, right? So it shouldn't be impossible for her to be sick, much less poisoned. But someone poisons her, and Death, if you guys know anything about me, and if you don't know anything about me, here's what you're gonna learn. I love me a big brother on a mission. So he's gonna find out who did this to his little sister, and it is going to be so much fun. It is coming out in September 23rd. I got a pre-order link below, so God willing, I can hit the USA Today bestseller list because that is my goal, and I'm working hard toward that puppy. So if you think that sounds interesting, if you like Leigh Bardugo, so you like the Six of Crows kind of books, if you like V.E. Schwab, or if you like R.F. Kuang, those kind of authors, if you like that kind of feel, you're really going to love my book. So if you would check it out, I would so appreciate it. Let's get rolling. The first book that I'm afraid to read is Strike the Zither by Joan He. Now, I am not necessarily directly afraid to read Strike the Zither because it's the first in a duology. And I hear that the second book, Sound the Gong, is just devastating. People don't know what to do with that ending. It sounds like one of those endings that you don't like, but you know it's good. I've read her sci-fi book, The Ones We're Meant to Find, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. It is absolutely star-striking. I could gush about it, but we're not talking about that book right now. I actually don't know what Strike the Zither is about, so I'm going to spitball right here. I know it's about a strategist. So she's a strategist, and then there's a strategist in the opposing kingdom. I think there's a little bit of a romance. For some reason, I get the implications, like little tidbits of if you took Apothecary Diaries but made it uber serious and sad. I don't know if that's kind of the dynamic relationship kind of a thing, or if I completely made that up in my head, so take that with very much a grain of salt. But I hear 2 things. Like I said, number 1, the ending of the second book is devastating, and also the author, Joan He, she says you really need to read them back to back. So you need to do Strike the Zither and then Sound the Gong, and I am such a fickle mood reader that I don't know if I would get to Sound the Gong and be kind of like, okay, well, it's a great book, but I don't feel like it right now. That's why I'm scared to read Strike the Zither, but I am going to do it. The second up is The Riveter by Jack Wang. This follows Josiah, I think his name is, who is a Chinese American during World War II, and he falls in love with a white young lady, and that's enough for me because you know me and my just absolute love of interracial relationships in books. Not enough of them because I am biracial and my mom is biracial. So I'm like, come on, we need more of that. We need more of it. We need to see it. And the reason I'm afraid of it is because it sounds so good. I mean, I don't think he's a pilot, paratrooper. I don't know. He fights in World War II to kind of prove himself to her family so that they maybe will allow him and her to be together without rejecting them. And so he goes off to war and she stays at home, and it sounds like a beautiful love story. And I'm like, you better do this so right because it sounds so good. But here's the thing, as much as I love interracial romances, I am also super, super picky when it comes to my romances. So if this gets messed up, I'm just gonna be like, oh, another one wasted. Again, me being picky, but that's why I'm scared because it just sounds so good and I'm afraid of being disappointed. Next up, we will talk about The Unmapping by Denise S. Robbins. Not sure of the precise details of this book, but I do know it is about what if one day you woke up and New York City was completely shuffled around. So all the streets and directions and buildings and areas that you know, Nope, shuffled around, you gotta learn new. Maybe it gets shuffled around every day. I don't know. It's a little bit, I don't know if it's sci-fi. I think it's just kind of like speculative dystopian, and it sounds really, really good. But I have read books with that kind of a feel before, where it's not quite fantasy, but it's not quite sci-fi. It's just like, what if something really weird happened one day and we just kind of observed life from there? Just a slice of life in this really odd dystopian-ish situation. And I've read some other books like that, and they were good, but they just weren't scratching that itch. There was something that wasn't quite hitting exactly what I wanted it to hit. And I'm a little bit afraid that the unmapping might do the same thing, because I'm getting really excited about it. But we'll see. Fourth, here we go. I am afraid to read The Tale of Genji. It's the first novel, and the first novel in the world was written by a woman. How cool is that for me to read? Like, I have to read it, right? I have to see my roots. Exactly. But, like, I'm sorry. I know this was written, let me Google the exact, like, time period era that it was written. Early 11th century. Writing was different back then. It is long. This puppy is 1,000+ pages long, and I'm just so scared it's gonna be so dry and so boring, and like, I'm scared I'm gonna hate it. But I got to read it anyway because it's my heritage. And finally, I am scared to read The Light Always Breaks by Angela Jackson Brown. Once again, this sounds so good. It is an interracial romance. It is so exciting. It takes place in the 60s-ish, somewhere around there. It is a Black restaurant owner and a white senator, and they fall in love. And I'm like, again, you gotta do this perfect. You have to do this perfectly for it to feel right, for it to feel earned, for it to feel satisfying. And I think it could do it. I think it can do it. But if it doesn't, again, like, that's my people. That is my history. It is interracial, Black and white. That is me. I need to see this. I need to see it happen, and I want to see a genuine, beautiful, caring relationship. You know what? I will even do this. I will even do this. If he starts out a mess, but he earns his change. So he actually changes. He sees that he's wrong, and he absolutely flips his ways. And then there is a romance, and he falls in love. I will do that. I need it to feel earn. I'll stop. You can see how I'm excited I am, and you can see how upset I would be if it didn't quite hit where I'm hoping it'll hit. And that is why I'm afraid to read it. And that is what I got for you for today. I will see you tomorrow for the next video, which the theme of the blog party is going to be books that I need to buy. I got to get my hands on them. So thank you guys for being here today. If you laughed at all, if you were entertained, if any of the books I talked about sounded interesting, I would super appreciate it if you could like, if you could subscribe, and you could leave a comment. Why don't you comment a book that you're afraid to read, please? Because that really helps me to be able to reach you guys, reach more people, and to be able to keep doing creative things. So thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a great day, and God bless. Bye-bye.